Okay, I'm just going to make a quick little video here trying to help you before you take exam number 4 to identify. So this is practice exam number 4. The purpose of this video is identifying which steps go with which word problems. I think that's one of the hardest things in statistics as you get ready for an exam. Exam number 4 is our next one, is to be able to read the words, because they're all mixed up, right? On the exam, they're all mixed up. Be able to read the words and identify which steps are necessary. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to run really quickly. I'm not going to solve the problems. I'm just going to help you identify. I've already solved all these problems on my other practice exam video. So here I'm just going to identify which formulas would be needed. I'm going to do that using the exam 4 notes. This is what you want to have with you when you take the actual exam. Number 4 is you want to have the exam 4 notes. I've got all the exam 4 notes here, so I'm going to use those. So here we go. Number 1, test the given claim. Okay, right away we know it's hypothesis test. They come down here and they say, see all these P's? You'll see these on the multiple choice answers. So it's a test. So it's clearly a hypothesis test using P. P1, P2. So let's go back and see what that could be. Go back to the notes. 2 proportions. Use 2 proportion z-test. So there it is. That's for when you have P1 and P2. 2 proportion z. It's not means, right? It's not an average. It's proportions. P stands for proportion. So there's how you would do that one. The second part of it, ask for a confidence interval. There's the P's again. So you would go back and you would say, okay, what steps do I need for that? Right here. Suitable confidence interval. Both these apply to this. Suitable confidence interval for a given hypothesis test. So that's how you figure that out. You can figure out the right one using those steps. All right, let's go on. That's the end of problem number 1. Number 2, test the claim. P-values again. So where do we have that? Again, right here. Test the claim, P-values. So we're going to follow those steps for number 2. And down here, confidence interval, P-values again. Same thing. We're going to use suitable confidence interval for a hypothesis test. And we're going to use 2 prop z interval for the confidence interval. And we're going to use this for the hypothesis test, because it's a test, and this is an interval. All right, number 3. Let's see. See how they have mu1 minus mu2? So those are means. Now, those are no P's here. There's no P1, P2. There's means, and they're asking me, what does the confidence interval suggest? Confidence interval suggests. Let's go back. Look at our stuff. Independent, no. Proportion, no. Suitable, no. No. Meaning of a confidence interval. There we go. There's what you want to use. Use this information to solve that problem. Number 4. Meaning of a confidence interval. From the notes, from the exam 4 notes. Follow those steps. on this one. Wait, am I in the right one? Oh no, I'm in the wrong one. I went too far, didn't I? Sorry about that. That's wrong. Ignore that. That's problem number 4. Go back here to problem number 3 there. What does a confidence interval suggest? So that's meaning of a confidence interval. There we go. Now let's go forward to number 4. This one again is mu1, mu2. This is test the claim. So that's clearly a hypothesis test. And there's no p's here. This is mu1, mu2. So hypothesis test with 2 means. See, it says x bar. That's a mean. That's an average. A mean. A mean is an average. X bar, there's 2 different means. Let's go back. So, where is it? There it is. So right here, we have 2 independent means. Use 2 sample t-test, or for confidence interval, that's what you would do for the confidence interval. That's what you would do for the hypothesis test for when you have means instead of proportions. This is p, this is mu. So for means, use those steps. So that's what we'll do. And down here's the confidence interval. We already talked about that. Let's move on to number 5. Here again we have means. And we're talking about a test statistic. So that's the same thing. It's going to be back here. It's going to be 2 independent means. Use these steps again. See, so I'll just write notes number, what number was it on the notes? Notes number 2. Yeah, maybe that'd be exact. Back on 4, this was notes number 2 as well. Number 3, this was notes number 4, meaning of a confidence interval. Number 2, this was notes number 1, proportions, and number 1 was also notes number 1 because it's proportions. See how they have the 2 lists? But careful now, notice it says independent. So that's notes number 2, as I said. 2 independent means, right? Go back to show you. See? Independent means. Notes number 2. Because it says independent. This one also said independent. Notes number 2. Notes number 2. Let's go on to number 6. Now, see how these are all matched up? Actress, actor, actress, actor. These are all matched up. Those are matched pairs. Where do we see matched pairs? Let's go back. There it is. 2 independent matched pairs. How do you do those? There's all the steps for that. It's notes number 3. Notes number 3. All right. Let's go forward. Same thing. Matched pairs. So you can tell matched pairs. Notes number 3. Again, notes number 3. 2 dependent matched pairs. Okay, now that's clearly scatter plot. So if you go back to your notes, it's going to be number 6. Graphing a scatter plot. There it is. From the notes. Notes number 6. Here's question 9. This one is, now how do you know what to do on this one? It's kind of confusing. Well, it says it right here. Linear correlation. Claim of linear correlation. So we're talking about a linear correlation coefficient and then a hypothesis test which is a linear correlation claim. Okay, let's go back to the notes. Testing linear correlation. Look at that. Data in L1, L2, linear regression t-test. Boom, boom. There it is, testing linear correlation. It's number 8. Notes number 8. Now these look matched, but it's specific, because you might think, oh, this is matched, I can do the match thing. Well, yeah, they're matched, but look what they say here. Regression line. They specifically want you to find the regression line. So how am I going to find the regression line? Equation. Let's go back to the notes. Finding linear correlation and linear regression equation. There it is, notes number 7. So look for these key words when you're taking the actual exam number 4, or any of these exams. All right, let's go to number 11. Again, they look kind of matched up, but it says regression equation again. So we know it's notes number 7, like the last one was. On we go, number 12. Now, this one's a little more tricky. What are they saying here? Well, the key words, this is probably the hardest one to tell, this and the next one. Well, this one probably is the hardest one. It says, test the reasonable claim that, always look for the word claim, huh? So it's some kind of hypothesis test. We're testing a claim that births occur with equal frequency. Now, what does that mean? Equal frequency. Meaning every day the same. Every day the same. So, every day the same. Every day the same. Every day the same. So that means you're going to have to add up the number, this is the number of births, on all these days, get a total. Let me see, I don't even know. I'm not really going to do this problem all the way, but let me just do a little bit. I'm getting 357. And then, if you take that 357 total, divided by 7 different days, you get 51 per day. So equal frequency, so equal would be 51. If 51 babies were born every day of the week, that would be 357. That'd be equal frequency. But in reality, there were 35 on Sunday, 58 on Monday, 57 on Tuesday, etc., etc. But they're saying, test the reasonable claim that births occur with equal frequency. So I made an equal frequency. So they want me to see, do the numbers I'm circling fit? See, this is goodness of fit. It's kind of hard to tell, isn't it? This is definitely the hardest thing to spot on the exam, is goodness of fit. How do I know? Well, when they say equal frequencies, it's always goodness of fit. I'd write that right on my notes for the exam number 4. When they say equal frequencies, you know it's goodness of fit, because you're seeing how equal frequencies fit with what actually happened. That's what they're saying. Test the claim that the births occur equally. How do they fit with those equal frequencies? Let's go back and we'll see goodness of fit. Now, how do we know it's goodness of fit? Well, it's not anything else, right? Come back over here. There were not any proportions. There wasn't 2 means. It's not matched pairs, right? It doesn't fit anything else. Independence, we'll get to in a minute. They'll actually use that word, so that'll be easy to spot. All that's left is goodness of fit. That's the hardest one to observe. So it is goodness of fit, notes number 10. So remember, equal frequency, goodness of fit, notes number 10. That's the hardest one to spot. Okay, number 13, Benford's law. You should remember from the homework that every time we did Benford's law, it also was goodness of fit. Goodness of fit, notes number 10, because you're figuring out how the percentages fit with what actually happened. So that's a lot of work. I'm not going to go through that one. You can see it on the other video. But I want you to recognize if there's a Benford's law question on the exam number 4, that's always goodness of fit, notes number 10. So just put that right on your notes for exam number 4. Benford's law is goodness of fit, notes number 10. And equal frequency is goodness of fit, notes number 10. So if you see an equal frequency problem or a Benford's law problem, you know they're notes number 10, goodness of fit. 2 more to go. This one, blah, 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 blah. Where's the key words that we need? Here's the claim. 0.05 level to test the claim. That's always what's the most important, right? Find the words, test the claim, that the direction of the kick is independent. Oh, independent. That's the key word. You're testing, right? We always find test the claim. That's where we look for the most important words. Independent. Let's go back. Test for independence. Look for that word. They will use the word independent when they want you to follow these steps. And number 11, notes number 11, and do a test for independence. Look for the word independence. So notes number 11, because they said independent right there. And finally, there's your data table that you put into your, that's the matrix you put into your calculator. I'm not going to solve the problem. I'll let you look at it on the other video. And then last one, number 15, there's that word again, independent. Notes number 11, right? Test, see how I always look for the words test the claim? Independent. Notes number 11. Independent again. That's what we're testing. Here's our matrix down here. That's a matrix you put into your calculator and test for independence. So there, I hope that helps. That's the kind of thing you want to do for yourself, and more practice identification so that when they're all mixed up on exam number 4, you can look for these certain words or certain markers to know which steps to follow, and definitely have the exam 4 notes with you during exam 4 so you can look up the steps you need to follow to solve the problems. See the other YouTube video on practice exam number 4 where I've solved all these problems for you. This was just a quick overview of identification.